Good morning, guys. Hello. Welcome to Workouts for Older Men Live. We'll be starting here in a moment. When you come on, get ready to ask your fitness questions. Make sure that you like and follow this page. Tap that screen over on TikTok so it'll find more men just like you. The more men we have here asking questions, the more value you get, more bang for your buck. Just rapid fire questions and answers. You get to learn more, hear more, feel more, the more men we have here. So on TikTok, tap that screen. I appreciate the likes. Tell me where you're watching me from. Tell me how old you are too. I want to know who is all showing up here on TikTok Live. I'll be starting this live broadcast here in a moment. Doing it live on TikTok at Skip LaCour, YouTube at Skip LaCour, and on my Facebook page at Skip LaCour page. Make sure you're on all of my social media platforms, and also make sure that you go to skiplacour.com. Go to skiplacour.com often. The most common questions that you need to build a strong foundation of knowledge, of understanding, even inspiration when you're trying to build your body, build that muscle, lose that body fat, find the right training routine, trying to find the right diet for you now that you're a little bit older. You're going to find it over on skiplacour.com, and make sure you sign up for the email list when you are over at skiplacour.com. All right, so let's start today's show. Hello, and welcome to Workouts for Older Men Live. I am Skip LaCour. So glad you are joining me live. You are live. This is live. I come to you at this time, 4 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Eastern time, every single morning, providing you with the information, the inspiration to take your body, your life, your level of fitness, sense of control, right? And your confusion and frustration, overwhelm when it comes to finding the best workout strategy for you, the best eating strategy. I know there's so much information out there, right? So much information out there. I want to simplify the process for you. I don't need to use big words or fancy new strategies that don't make a difference when you're a little bit old. You got a busy, productive life. You just want to, you don't want to be a bodybuilder. You want to be a fitness influencer. Tons of respect for bodybuilders, tons of respect for fitness influence, but you just want to, maybe you've been carrying around this 40 extra pounds for, I don't know, the last 30 years. You took care of your family and your business, right? I respect what you've accomplished. Right now, it's time to balance things out. You got more time, more brain space. Now you're ready. I want to help you with the right workout strategies, right eating strategies, whatever level you're at now. I don't want to help you get to that next level. If you are new here, my name is Skip LaCour. I will be 62 years old here next week or so. I've been doing this for 35 years. Coming to every single day, something thinking, man, Robert just asked a question, and I just answered that like it was the first time I've ever answered it. Right, but it's probably the 5,000th time I've answered in the last 35 years. Hopefully I've been getting better and better, more distinctions, getting current with the science, right? Not just saying the same old thing. But that's my passion, to connect with you. What's most important is you right now, where you're at, and I want to make sure that I connect with you. All right, so when you come on, say hello. Tell me where you're watching me from. Tell me what platform you're watching me on. Tell me how old you are. And ask your questions again on TikTok. Tap that screen. Those likes draw more men who are just like you. The algorithm finds more men. And so we have twice as many, 5 times as many men just throwing out questions. So you'll learn at a faster pace with all the energy, with all the questions. Maybe they'll ask some questions that you need the answers to. You need some perspective, but you didn't think of it. So you get more bang for your buck while you're here. All right, so here we go. So Johnny, man, can't eat cheese. Well, that's okay. Can build that muscle, lose that body fat with good eating habit without eating cheese. All right. David, so glad you're here. David's from Long Island, New York. Alake Garcia. Hello, Skip from California. Watching you on TikTok. It's bright and early here, right? You're on the West Coast with me. What part of California are you from, Mr. Garcia? So glad you are here. Robert from Los Angeles, too, 56 years old from Los Angeles. Great to have you here, Robert. Bright and early this morning. John is from Seattle. All right. Tell me where you're watching from. Got like over 500,000 viewers over on TikTok on my Facebook page. They don't get active. Certainly not as active as the TikTok guys. So let me know where you're watching from on TikTok and on YouTube. Also, let me know if you're brand new. You're just into fitness. Maybe you're older and you're just scrolling through your screen and this just popped up. I know that's how it's happening right now on TikTok. I'm so glad you're here. Make sure you follow. If you can use some of this information, make sure that you follow. Right. And if you're new over on TikTok or on YouTube, just scrolling through, brand new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Let me know that you're new. Thank you for the follow, Black Kings. Thank you for the follow, Tyler Jones. So glad you're here over on TikTok. All right, ask your questions, guys, if you have them. I'm watching from Mexico. So glad you are here. What time is it? It's 4:07 a.m. Pacific time. I come to you live 7 days a week. All right. I was on TikTok last hour or so, and I was wondering who's in the mood to talk about fitness. I was thinking, these guys don't want to talk about fitness. Everybody's obsessed with what's going on in the political world and all its implications. All right. I said, well, you know what? Maybe they need a break from that. All right. I'm thinking about not showing up this morning, coming on a little later, sleeping in. But I said, quit making your excuse to skip. What would I tell my son? Get up and deliver. Right. What do you think about Cialis for gym pumps? You don't need a pump. All right. You don't need a pump to have a great workout. All right. That's just blood flow to the air. It feels good, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger said, oh, the pump. It feels good. You're not, there's no significant muscle gains be putting any chemicals in your body just for a pump. Remember that one workout backed up by good eating habits, just like one brick in a wall. You don't need that. Right. And there's, besides, engorging blood into the muscles, that feeling good, maybe a better performance, risk versus reward, right? Learn how to do that without that feeling. You can build muscle, lose body fat. I'm really not into putting a lot of things into my body, especially, fitness. There's quite a few things besides the workout, that contributes to you, building muscle, losing body fat, being healthy and fit, looking the way you want in the mirror, having that energy, right? There's quite a few things that are involved besides one aspect, especially the training, right? You overload that muscle, you do your thing there, but then you got to make sure eating right. And that's a huge part of all of this. And then it's just that one work at a time. It's just like in life, there's a lot of times there's not these big, gigantic things that make this huge difference, but it's that consistency over time, right? So everything is risk versus reward. What are you getting? Now, it's kind of like supplements. I talk about this all the time. You know what makes a supplement work, right? It's if you feel it. If you feel something, the impact of building muscle and losing body fat, what it does to you is greatly exaggerated. If you can feel something, supplement company, they know that very few supplements, you can actually feel something, a tingling in your body, a pump of your muscles, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's leading to more muscle, all right, or losing body fat, or even better performance in the gym. Raymond says, I can't heavy squat. What can I do for a replacement? You can't squat at all, or you can't squat heavily to overload the muscle, because of, your back, because that's a tough exercise too. It takes a lot of skill. You can't overload your legs. You're just not good at it. There's so many machines now that, the belt, depending on your gym, that can strap you in and really simulate a squat now that I would recommend that for when you're older, even if you're younger. It's all about overloading the muscle. So whatever machine that takes, even if it's a leg press, all right? So any type of overload, I wouldn't recommend like leg curls or for hamstrings. I don't even leg extension. I don't even recommend those at all anyway. Can you goblet squat? Can you leg press? Right? There's a lot of press, um, simulating machines, so you don't have to use so much skill on a free squat. I know that's a basic exercise. It's a manly exercise. The foundation of the biggest bodybuilders, but we don't need to do that. We need effective systems versus the best training strategy. Even the best system is what we need to make sure we're consistent. I was just thinking about that. When I started doing the show, I don't even know, every single morning about 8 or 9 weeks ago. How much it took me with all the sound and the camera. I've got a couple of cameras and the sound and the sound quality and this button and this button, and I'm going to do sound effects and what angle, all the graphics, right? When I started 8 weeks ago, it was cluttered. Sometimes it took me as much as a half an hour, and I would still get some things wrong, right? Well, now I just created a system where I don't move those cameras unless I take them to do my kids' sports or whatever. So it's lighting, and so like I said, someone's mentioning some of the political things, right? I was weighed down with that, saying that probably has everybody on everybody's mind. Am I going to do this? Am I going to sleep in? Right? So I'm dragging in. Thank God that I had a system, because it literally took me like 4 minutes, and boom, here I am broadcasting, all over, right? So that's having a system where you don't move it, so it's not all complicated, right? So when my motivation is down, when I don't feel like it, if I went back to where I was trying to figure out everything and had to recreate setting all this up, and it took half hour, I probably wouldn't even do it. I would have just slapped in, right? So there's just a system where everything doesn't have to be perfect. Boom, 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 boom. Less thought, just more action, whatever intensity you could do it. And you'll have more intensity the more simple the system is, simple and effective. And I use that analogy. That's the way we have to do when it comes to eating and training. You can make it complicated if you want. All right. It just taxes, your ability to follow through a lot of time. All right. Bozman from Oz. So glad you are here, sir. You guys make sure, let me know if you're new. Also, make sure that you follow me, if you're new. All right. Like I said, I come to you every single morning for some inspiration. By the way, TikTok, at least on this format right now, if you miss, you're just coming in now, what did I talk about for the first 15 minutes of the show? If you can only just scroll through and be here for about 5 minutes, you can always watch the replays to every single show on my YouTube channel, and that's at Skip LaCour. Make sure you subscribe there, and on my Facebook page, at Skip LaCour page. So keep that in mind. All right. You can always get the replay version on my YouTube channel at Skip LaCour. Robert Rojas, banana oatmeal, couple liquid egg whites, black coffee is what I have for breakfast. Awesome. That's awesome. You got your routine. Probably eat that every single morning, right? Let me just tell you, building upon what Robert says for understanding, nutrition is a huge part of all this, right? It's finding, the protein, carbs, fats, the calories for the day, however many meals. You don't have to eat 6 meals a day. They don't need to be they don't need to be placed strategically every 2 to 3 hours. If you have bigger gaps than others, it's getting those total calories and getting all the protein, carbs, and fat and grams. The ratio is the same, but really focus on those calories, get all those down. So when you find certain foods, when the most successful men who really make this a part of their life, they sacrifice variety. And again, that's like a system, right? And by the way, this whole system thing really kind of changed my life and got me more focused and organized. Hey, thank you so much for the gifts. Lefty Chunk, thank you so much. Mr. Garcia, thank you for the lightning. I really appreciate. I know it's more of a gesture, but I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for likes. 1.1 thousand likes. Keep tapping that screen. Tapping that screen. There's more questions that get flowed in, and you get more bang for your buck the time that you're here with so many men throwing so many questions that you can learn from. And I want to answer your questions too. All right. But there's an example of a good set with Robert's his eating. He probably can eat that all the time. He's not searching for variety. He's found the foods combination that he likes. He likes them enough. Maybe they're not a 10 out of 10 in enjoyment, entertainment, but he doesn't need that. It's good, solid, 7.5, 8 out of 10 enjoyment. It's the nutrients that he needs. Boom, he's got one of those meals down. He's, I don't know, 1/4 of his calories that he's eating. It's all planned out. Once he eats it, he's satisfied. It's good. And that's a system, right? That's a system of doing all this, an important part of eating. May have one of those for lunch, right? He may have 3 meals that are very similar to that all work. So maybe his variety is dinner with his family or something like that. That's how you make this work, right? Important part of eating. Billy, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you so much for the follows. Follows man from the UK. Let's see. Way to grow calves. Now, calves, a couple things about calves. The way to grow them is overload, right? And you'll hear me talk about this a lot. I'm gonna start from the very basic beginning of what it takes to build muscle. And I know many of you have been doing this for a couple of years. You already know this. You hear this term all the time. Progressive overload. Right? Your muscle will only grow to what it's needed. It's not going to just grow, I don't know, just because you eat a lot more or you wish or whatever. I mean, you got to demand it. More weight, to a certain point, more reps with more weight. But I'm not saying that, well, I'm using this one little 10-pound plate doing my calves. I'm doing a seated calf machine. And, well, I'm able to do this easily with 10. So I'm just going to build up to 100. I guess you could do that, or you could put more weight and keep it at 10, right? And then 11, 12, and then put more weight and do 10, 11, 12. Progressive overload, one more rep, 5 more pounds. After a while, that's going to be tougher and tougher, especially in one set. Maybe you do 4 exercises or 4 sets, 2 different exercises, 2 sets each for calves, whatever it might be. The improvement might be 2 reps spread over the 4 sets, the 2 different exercises. You only improve by 2 reps, maybe on the second set 1 and the second set or the 4th set 1, but it's still better than last time, right? It doesn't always have to be that set, 5 more pounds, 1 more rep. Better form, feel, and execution, better mind, muscle, and connection, more confidence, really targeting that muscle improvement, some way, shape, or form. Progressive overload, not just, and what I call the 3 times 10 set mentality. We just kind of predetermine, I'm going to do 3 times 10 reps, right? I'm going to do 10. And you just pick up weight, get to 10, pick up weight, get to 10. Maybe, could I do more? Well, I know I stop at 10. Sometimes I fight for 10, but I always do 3 sets of 10. All right. That's not going to do it. You got to have a rep range. Everyone's got to be a challenge, progressive overload, right? So you need that same philosophy when it comes to calves, right? Now, let me just say a couple things about calf. It's a stubborn body part for a lot of men. Sometimes they either have it or they don't. They have the shape. That shape isn't determined by more muscle. There are top-level Mr. Olympia bodybuilders, and they have the worst calves ever. The shape of them, the size of them, it's not proportional, because calves, there's that genetic component of shape, and size. So all you can do is that progressive overload to develop what you have. All right. There aren't too many things, like I said, you got to give up. If you don't have the calves, if they're not shaped a certain way, you can train them all you want. You got to make the most out of it. It may never be. And I always see, like, when I go to a fair or some type of street walking event, in the city, and you just see this one guy, just these enormous calves, cut calves, and the guy doesn't even work out, right? That's genetics, that shape, right? And then you see the most determined guys in the gym and they can't do anything with their skinny calves. All right. So it's all about overload. You probably hear things like, oh, well, and then there are certain theories because you walk on them so much. It's not about overload anymore. It's about reps. You got to get a lot of reps to combat. I'm not sure if that's true. I don't necessarily believe that. It's overload too. It's all those other factors that may be limiting. So do what you can with calves. Take a look around, see what I'm saying is true, and just do your best. But good question, Mr. Garcia. All right. I have bone-on-bone arthritis in my knee. I do leg presses. Okay. Yeah. So when it comes to any type of injuries, whether you're younger or you're older, and it limits your ability to create that overload, progressive overload, unfortunately, is the minimum price that you have to pay if you want to grow muscle. All right. So whatever the challenge is, you're not skilled, and so you don't want to, push it on a particular exercise like squats, right? That's challenge exercise to do right. Whatever you want to do, you want to prevent injury. So you're not willing to take that risk with heavier weight at overload. Okay. Or you have arthritis, has nothing to do with your training. Maybe you have a joint pain, has nothing to do with your training. Maybe it's just on the job, maybe a genetic component. Maybe you have injuries from a lot of wear and tear over the years from the gym. You're older, but you've been training for 20 years. Maybe you drew out your back one time training. So it doesn't matter what caused limitations, genetic, something outside of the gym or in the gym. The minimum price is that overload. So if you can't do that, you got to do the best you can. But there's really no way around it when you want to grow muscle. If you have any physical limitations, I can't tell you responsibly how much you should push it. Really, nobody can feel it. And that risk versus reward that you need to take, that's something that you have to take. Nobody can feel it for you. But I'm just telling you, with the minimum price to build muscle, if that's what you want. The only other thing that I can add to that that's very, very important is that a lot of times when you get lean, right, even if you have 20%, 23% body fat, that's way better than most men your age, a little bit older. But you look great in your clothes, look better than most men when you look around. But, if you want to look ripped, have some abs or certainly a flat stomach, no love handles, no meat on the back, minimal, not any man boobs slouching down, right? That's all about, losing that body fat. And the magic happens when you get under 20%. The more you get under 20% to closer to 15%, boom, things start popping out. So even like your calves will look bigger. Your shoulders will look bigger. Your arms will look bigger. So remember that too. If you have more body fat and you, every time you diet, you think you're losing your hard-earned muscle. That's not necessarily true. You got to get past that mental block, get leaner, and then you'll buy a large shirt, buy large shirts instead of the extra large, even though you take pride in being the big guy, even though people might say, are you still working out? You look sick. You're getting skinny. All those things, that is really a compliment from those people who don't know anything about workouts. You got to get over that mental hump where it messes with your head and get lean, right? That's how you make all these body parts with injuries, genetic deficiencies, the inability to overload. Getting lean is the key. Can I say that again? Getting lean is the key. Getting lean is the key. Getting lean is the key. All right. Especially when you're old. You don't have, forever to pack on this muscle and then cut down for the next 2 years. Then you're 55 years old. You're going to get together when you're 59? No, we can't have that young person's mentality where they're all in and they've got the next 50 years to figure it out, even though they don't really figure it out, right? We got to be effective and efficient now, without less trial and error. All to failure, of course. Is that a question? Again, failure. It's a great question. The further you go down the rabbit hole, the more opinions, the more experts' opinion, more opinions from those who are fitness influencers who've done it 5 years, 10 years. They talk about failure. What that means, if you're rather new to all this, that means, when you do a set, right, which your mentality should be every one set, it's getting all into that one set. Being safe, of course, using good form, feel, and execution, hitting the target muscle, not swing on, using a little bit of back to help out or shoulders or whatever, just to get from point A to point B. It's, hitting the target muscle group, right? Challenging yourself. So when you put that those weights down at the end of the set. Again, I'll say this again, be safe, of course, that you just can't do anymore. All right. Failure, absolute failures. There's no way I could put down. I mean, I could barely get it up. Maybe absolute failure might you do half, and then you can safely put it down. There are some exercises where, man, if you go to absolute failure and you don't have a spotter, that probably isn't very smart, especially when you're older. But that's what absolute failure is. And so the farther you get down the rabbit, you should never go to absolute failure. You never should go to failure. You should stop a couple reps short. All right. Well, here's the thing is, I mean, the more and more you do this, more and more serious, the more you master this, you'll realize those 1 or 2 reps, 10 more pounds, even if you think you've maxed out, man, there's always a higher level. There is 10 more pounds. You can do one more reps. And you're probably already finding that out if you've been training. What you can do now versus what you thought you could do, it's a year later, and you've superseded your expectations, right? That's how important the mind is. It's not always physical, right? So here's my thing is that when I know there's always more inside of me, even myself, even if I thought I did absolute failure, probably could have done more. All right. So when you intentionally stop a couple reps short, you're going to be safe. It's like you're going to, not, it wasn't like that set was a waste. But many times when you intentionally stop a couple reps short of absolute failure, the reality is that you'll find out later is you probably stop five reps short of absolute failure. So go to absolute failure, just assume that there's always more, and you're probably stopping 2 reps short of absolute failure, even when you think that's all you have. You'll find out later. All right. Let's see. Scutterfly, I'm 43 and need days to recover after a moderate lift session. Okay. Everybody has different recovery, what you can. That's the way it is. That just shows that for your body, your level, that you're having an efficient workout. You're breaking down the muscle, right? There's no rush, right? Why do men use steroids, right? What steroids do, it allows you to break down that muscle and recover faster. And when it's recovered, you can do it again. So, if you're training naturally, I assume that Scutterfly, and you really work that muscle the way you should, you're not going to recover as fast. It's going to be sore longer. So you need more time to train that muscle group again. That's fine. You're probably doing enough. If you don't have the muscle that you think that to reward you for your effort, and you're training that way where you're not recovering maybe as soon as you like, that's okay. You're doing whatever you can to build muscle. You're probably on the right path. You just I appreciate the ambition, but it doesn't happen as quickly as a lot of men think, building that muscle. And again, if you are 23% body fat or so, and you may not know what that looks like, but you feel good, you look better than most, but I don't know if I would take my shirt off at the company pool party. I don't know. I don't look anything like you do, Skip. All right. But you look way better than most men your age, right? When you get leaner, closer between where you are, which is great, to what you see where I am, right? The closer you get, the more those muscles pop out. So when you understand that your training might be good enough, there's no sense to hurry when your muscles are still sore. Thank you so much for the likes, guys. Thank you so much for the gifts. I really appreciate that. Tap that screen. Let's get those likes to get more men, so it's more rapid fire questions. I mean, that's a great question by Scutterfly. Bosman made a good point. The more men we have here, the more questions, the more productive we are with our time. With more questions, more understanding, more inspiration gets crammed in our time here together. So thank you so much for tapping those likes, get more energy, more questions here, more bang for our buck. Aaron, thank you so much for the follow. Rob Newell, 55, thank you for the follow. Let's see here. Is it worth from 7 to 10 one week and then 12 to 15 the next week to stimulate growth? No, there isn't, for all practical purposes. So that's a great question, Bosman. And again, I hope you understand that you're getting on the internet and why it may be so confusing. So let me talk about that, right? So, there's the basic organizing principle, right? So, so one thing, what Bosman talks about is a rep range, 7 to 10 or 12 to 15. He doesn't say, is it worth changing from 10 reps, 3 times 10 rep sets to 3 times 15? There's a rep range, right? When you have a range and you go on a range, you're always tap dancing between overload, challenging yourself between weight and reps, not just guiding it to make sure I hit 10. All right. So number one, he's got a rep range, right? That progressive over, that's going to take care of, I don't know, I'm just throwing this number out there for you, if you're geeky into numbers and science and everything, that overload, okay, whether you use 12 to 15 or 7 to 10, okay, it doesn't matter. If you're going to feel that failure at the end, you really push your set, safely, of course, and you're shooting it for 7 to 10. Obviously, you should be able to do more weight than if you shot for 12 to 15. That is what matters most. That takes care of 95% of all this. So, once we have the basic organizing principle with training and understand progressive overload and consistency and intensity, or the eating, right? Eating the amount of calories, eating as much food as we can while we're in a deficit, if that's what we want to lose body fat, with our macronutrients. They don't have to be always exact numbers. They can be a range of percentage, but we're getting consistent. That's going to take care of like 95% of all this. But see, nobody wants to stop there, right? What can I do that's optimal? What is this thing or that thing that can make the edge now that I've taken care of the basics? Now, most I work with, right? Most men they don't have those basics, but they don't understand what I said. They may think they understand, but they need a specific diet and then grow into it, right? Understanding they need a specific training program, believe in it, and then grow into it. And then that level of what I'm saying gets to higher and higher levels, right? But everybody wants to get more out of what they're doing. Most people think for the amount of dedication and effort, whether it's true or not, the amount of dedication, effort, and time, they think they should get better results when they look in the mirror. How much body fat they're losing, how much weight, muscle they're gaining. Everybody believes they should be getting more for what they're putting in. Not necessarily true. I appreciate the ambition, but may not work that way depending on what you expect. All right. So after that point, everybody wants more and more and more. I think I'm doing everything. Let me look for a strategy. So then that's when, fitness influencers and guys, they start throwing in all these theories and their practical experience, whether it's true or not. And so that's where, that's where, changing every single rep range, it'll stimulate the muscle, it'll confuse the muscle, and I will be to more growth. See, that isn't true, but it may have worked for some men. Or just doing something when you're anxious and you just want more, it seems like mix it up. You know what creates confusing the muscle so it can adapt and continue to grow is that overload. It's that one more rep, challenge yourself more every single workout, regardless of the rep scheme, regardless of the exercise that you use. It's overloading that target muscle, getting better at what you do. See, then we go into theories. Well, if you change it, it'll do it. I swear by it or whatever. Personal trainers or maybe online coaches, the more complicated they can make it for you, right? Give you 4 routines instead of 1. You not knowing what it takes and I'm not sure their level of knowledge, but what's it take for me, if I was your online coach, what's it take for me to give you 4 routines? Nothing. All right. Do those 4 routines make you bigger, stronger, better understanding? No, but you'll have a better perceived value. Instead of I said, look, what matters is this 1. Just stick with the rep range, demand more. You'll see with this mindset, keeping these things in mind, you'll see that in 4 weeks, you're going to get better. Way more than you've done before. Now that I've set you up for success in the mindset. I do this with men all the time. We've been training for 20 years. There's like 4 key principles that understanding with overloaded that it makes. So no matter how many years, they just go off the charts with their performance in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Right? It's their understanding. So the theories about changing rep scheme, it seems like it makes them. What the hell? Why not that start? But usually, if you're not seeing the growth that you want in the gym as fast as you want, It's your expectations. They're just unrealistic. Ambitious, that's good. I appreciate driving for more, but changing strategies that won't make a bit of difference like that may seem like it's something. You got 2 routines or 3 different routines over 3 weeks. It seems like you're mixing it up, but it's not going to make a difference rather than just doing that one week after week, taking it higher and higher levels. Hope that's helpful. Bosman, great question. I'll up my overload on my calves. Thank you for the tip. You're welcome, Mr. Garcia. All right. A lot of questions, good questions about certain body part training, frequency, intensity, rep ranges, a lot of things like that. Good questions here. Raymond, thank you so much for the follow. Hey, thank you so much for those likes, guys. I really appreciate that. So David says, Skip, you heard what's happened yesterday? Someone tried to shoot President Trump and they caught the, I have heard that. You're welcome, Raymond. No overload back pain. Yeah, you always got to be safe. Always got to be safe. Being functional, right? That's important. And that risk versus reward. You can always get leaner, you can walk. There's a lot of things. If you can't maximize your ability to earn muscle, right? We're thinking about longevity and health as we do all this. You need to drink water, bro. Am I first thing in the morning here? Get hydrated here. Well, thanks for the tip, Michael. Probably do. He's talking to, how much water do you drink a day? If you drink a half a gallon, plenty of water. Bodybuilders tend to over-exaggerate the water. You see them in the gym with their 1 gallon water a day, drinking a gallon. You don't need to drink that much water. Okay, Mr. Garcia, 33 years old. T.A. Smith, thank you for the follow. A lot of great questions here, right? Thank you for tapping that screen, getting more men. We're all getting more bang for the buck. These 38 minutes have just flown by, right? Because the quality of the questions and coming through rapid fire. So thank you so much. Tap that screen. Man, we got to get Facebook and YouTube. They got to really follow TikTok. TikTok makes it amazing for creators. If you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to get up, even when the president's got shot and you're tired and doing this 7 days a week to provide the information, the inspiration, right? Getting you guys on a pattern, getting you to count on me. TikTok rewards it by flashing this at least for a few minutes to a lot of people. So it's up to me. Do I have the right graphics? Do I have the right energy? I'm saying the right thing. And hey, it turns into a follower. I don't know, Facebook and YouTube aren't doing the same thing. And that's, I think, why TikTok is just taken off, right? All right, a lot of great questions here. Thank you so much. Do you work your forearms specifically, Skip, or just rely on all of your other exercises to do that? Great question. Some of my routines, like I would say every third routine, I go in 8 to 10 week cycles. So over 30 weeks, one third of those workouts of that time, one of those 8 to 10 week cycles will have direct forearm work. But most of it, if you're, lifting heavy, you're getting indirect work with your forearms, and that usually does it. So good question on that one. My diet consists of 220 grams of carbs, 190 grams of protein, 100 grams of fat. Is this good to get at 1,700 calories? And I think you said you're 33 years old. I think all those goods, I would even, I don't know I don't know how strict you are. If you're strict with that 2,500 calories, again, it's all about standards, right? If you're reaching your goals. But 14 days, Mr. Garcia, 14 days. If you can go 14 out of 14 and at least hit the 2,500 calories, those macros, maybe maybe they're not, the protein, carbs, and fat for those of you want it. It isn't those exact percentages, close, but you hit that 2,500 calories, 14 out of 14 days. I'm not sure if you have done that, right? But if you were to do that, you're a little bit hungry at night, and certainly almost ravenously hungry in the morning. You're okay with that because, you want to be lean, you want to stay lean, all right? That's an indication that 2,500 calories, that's not enough food. Sure, you're in a deficit, but we want to eat as much food as we can while we're gradually getting leaner. I mean, at 33 years old, I don't know how tall you are, necessarily how much you weigh, but that's not a lot of calories. Just the average guy, not a guy working out with you who knows as much as you, probably as consistent as you are. Man, it's going to be 2,500, 2,800 calories. That's not 2,500 calories. It's not a lot of food. That's what the average guy, not someone as active as you, probably as look as good as you. I mean, at 33 years old, you can, now again, 2,500 calories deficit is working for you. I understand that, but that next level, that you can eat 3,000 calories. Same percentage of the macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fat. Even get your metabolism even more optimized, getting the most out of it instead of settling for, which is probably pretty good at 2,500 calories. And that's the next level strategy, right? Food is energy. Energy is food. Calories is energy. Calories is food. It all ties in, right? Not just for building muscle, losing body fat, your ability to repair and grow muscle tissue after breaking it down, right? Not just, optimize your metabolism so you burn calories, lose fat more effectively, but about your energy levels. So when you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning, how you fed yourself for the last few days, last few weeks, it all ties in for your sustained energy levels. Food is calories, calories is energy, right? So you don't just want to be in a calorie deficit, right? You don't want to do just for your body, because your energy, your moods, how you handle stress, how you sleep at night, your sense of well-being. There's a lot of things to eating right besides staying lean, getting lean, losing body fat, building muscle, right? So if we were to eat more and we got leaner and we had more of those benefits of more energy, right? But that's definitely a next level strategy. But when I help out a lot of men, it's to help them, get not all the trial and error. They learn the right strategies right from the beginning. I want to use my 35 years of experience. I work with men, one-on-one. I don't know how many of you are brand new, all right, to me, but if you like what you're hearing, well, how can I talk to you, right? How can I learn more? I want to take this up to the next level. This is the best deal that I have, right? If you like what you're hearing, all right, and you want to take it to the next level, right? Go to solutionswithskip.com. I got a package there if you like this flow and training, nutrition, systems, strategies, mindset, how this is all affected as I'm older, right? Is there any different, right? Go there. Go to Solutions with Skip. Check out that program. The best part about it, though, is you and I get to talk one-on-one, personally, on a conference call. The call is recorded, so you learn over and over again. Man, I'll tell you, if you are sick and tired, right, of being frustrated, confused, you're stuck, looking maybe better than most, but not to the level that you want, go to solutionswithskip.com. You'll see it's an amazing deal. If you're sick and tired, the value of your time and energy, I'll be more than happy. This is a great package, right? So check that out, solutionswithskip.com. Right after you enroll, you'll get instant access. A username and password will be issued to you. You get instant access to the 20 hours or more of audios, videos, all right, workout, training, nutrition, strategies, all right. All that information, you get instant access. And then I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to get a picture of you. You're going to fill out a questionnaire so I know everything about you. And we're going to get it done, all right? One-on-one coaching makes all the difference in the world. You, instead of interpreting what you think, instead of you guessing that this is more important than that, you guessing that there's a saying that says, if everything is important, then nothing is. Are you grabbing what is the newest thing, the game changer, or do I need to really hit more what I'm doing, right? I want to help you differentiate what's important, what's not. Save you a lot of time, a lot of frustration. I know you're looking all over the internet, it can be quite confusing, quite frustrating. Everything seems to contradict itself, even when you think you're getting good results. Could I get more? Am I doing it right? I want to end that confusion, frustration, and overwhelm for you. Again, thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you so much for being here. All right, go to solutionswithskip.com. At least check that out. So when you may think, I want to take it to the next level. I think I'm committed. All right. When you're sick and tired, and you know when you are, you'll see what an amazing value it is. So look at it now. Go just check it out at solutionswithskip.com. It'll bounce you over there. Check it all out. Read everything, get in this amazing package. All right. And then when you are really sick and tired, maybe you got to watch a few more of my videos. Maybe go to skiplecore.com, build more trust, understand that I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for so long, but I've been, not just myself, I've been doing it, helping out men like you. I know what your challenges are. I know what the solutions are. I know how to condense this learning process. So when you're really sick and tired, you'll see the tremendous value over at skiplecore.com or at solutionswithskip.com. I work out 5 days a week. Okay, so I need to be at least 3,500 calories. I don't know if that's the number at 5'5". I just said 2,500 calories. That's like the minimum. It might be 2,800 calories. It might be 3,000. Nobody can tell you that for sure. But that's why you start. You've got a good base, but it's really important. And answer this question for me, Ms. Garcia, and be honest, right? So the number is 2,500. So intellectually, you've decided, you've done your research, but then it's like you can be doing the right strategy, but there's not enough intensity, enough consistency. You really don't know. So out of 14 days, and it's okay, whatever that number is, how many of those 14 days do you hit that 2,500 calories? This is massive. This is where standards come in. You can have the right strategy, but your standards may not be high enough. And I'm not saying you can only eat chicken and broccoli or whatever, right? But there's a big difference if I shoot for 2,500 calories and I do that. I had just a gentleman last week. He wanted a certain physique, and the price that he was willing to pay, what risk versus reward, his standards. He had his calorie amount, and he did it 4 days out of the week. And then 3 days, he was a normal person, and sometimes that was eating certain foods, but sometimes, the calories were a lot more than his allotted amount. And for what he wanted versus that price he was paying, that level of consistency, it's not going to happen. He needs to, for him, he doesn't have to do it necessarily 7 days a week. Maybe it's 5 days a week. And those days he goes over, even if it's junk food, it's not that much over his amount. Or maybe it's 6 out of 7 days and you only go over one day, eat the food you want, but you don't go over more than 500 calories. It depends on what you're doing and the results you want, and what time frame, what price you have to pay. And again, that's what one-on-one coaching can save you a lot of time and frustration. Think you're doing it right, but you just need to make some adjustments. You just don't fully understand what it takes to get what you want, and you're more than willing to do it. It's just what you've come up to, the right standards, what feels right. It isn't right. It isn't enough. All right. So go to solutionswithskip.com. Check that out. Enroll right now. Get instant access today. Start on that journey. All those goodies that you get, and then I'm going to reach out to you today. Get that picture from you, have you fill out the questionnaire, and we'll schedule our one-on-one coaching session. We can start that as early as tomorrow. I'll schedule you for this week. So go to solutionswithskip.com when you're sick and tired and you're ready to make some change. You're ready to take it to the next level. All right. Hey, thank you so much for those likes. It's a lot of likes. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you appreciating me too. All right. And being here. I'm so glad that I joined in. I'm telling you, I've been doing this every single morning at this time. I mean, I was this close to blowing it off and saying, all right, they're all caught up in the politics and the mood. Every single TikTok that I see scrolling through has something to do with that. Andrea sucked out. They don't want to talk about fitness. I was trying to get myself to justify, because I didn't want to get up here, right? So glad I did come here. And here's the other thing about it. I've got a coaching client who I talk with every Sunday morning at 5 a.m. So I had to get up anyway. So anyway, that's the same battle you guys have with, are you going to work out that day too, right? am I going to do it? So, but again, I'm just saying that because I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the energy. It just gets me to come back here more often. All right. So reach out, go to solutionswithskip.com. You can always reach out to me. My phone number is everywhere here on the internet. Text me, if you want to reach out to me, just talk. Right. Make sure you go to skiplacour.com. We'll watch all those videos over there. So thank you so much for the energy. All right. This show, we talked about a lot of things, a lot of great questions, rapid fire, the effective and efficient use of our willpower, focus, energy, and time in this last hour. All right. So I appreciate your participation, your energy, giving that to me. All right. So go to solutionswithskip.com. So if you're sick and tired now, if you're sick and tired of carrying this extra weight, not figuring out this confusion, frustration, and overwhelm, you're sick and tired now, take action now. I'll contact you today to set up our one-on-one coaching session. So that's going to do it for this Workouts for Older Men Live. Let's take on the day with a sense of urgency. We have to when we're a little bit older. We've got more time behind us than we do in front of us. Have a great day. Thank you so much for being here.